Ladies and gentlemen, hello, welcome to Zentropy Aviation. Today we have a first look at the just now released product from Microsoft / Asobo / Oliver Moser, which is the team responsible for bringing us the Junkers 52, which was the local legend number 1. This is the local legend number 3, and coming from the same team. Here we have a Dornier Do J Wal, which is a historic, legendary aircraft that was involved in several noteworthy endeavors. And with this product, you have a very reasonable price, because this for $15 you get 3 variants with historically accurate cockpits. You get the N25, which is the North Pole expedition. You get the South American journey one, and you get this one here. This is the Cabina. They have different power plants, so you have different cockpits, you have different engines. The original, I know, ran on a Rolls-Royce engine. There were several different engines used with different power settings. BMW was one of the engines used. This is the Cabina variant. So this review is going to focus on this, and later on today I'm also planning to fire up the other two. And if you want to see more detail on the other 2 variants included, please keep an eye on the channel. I will post the other variants later today. So one more thing worthy of mention is that the aircraft comes with 3 bush trips. They are for the 3 different variants, and they attempt to recreate the historic flights that those aircraft are known for, which is really cool. I think you get a lot of value for your money with this package, so kudos to them. Let's go ahead and jump in the cockpit and see what this looks like. The aircraft was initially produced in the period of 1922 to about 1936. So this is the era of aviation we're looking at. As you see, kind of what we come to expect with the Microsoft / Asobo produced aircraft. The visual attention to detail is impeccable with the cockpit here. The interesting part, I was just looking through the checklists. That is the only thing that I have done. I have not flown yet. You get kind of my first impression with this video. Interesting thing I've noticed: the checklist actually has you power on the engines before you turn on the battery, which is a very curious observation, because I wonder what the engine start was powered by. The Holy Spirit? So it just has us basically open up the fuel valves and do the fuel selectors, and then for the engine start you have the condition levers to full rich. You have engine 2 start, great, and then engine 1. But then for the run-up section is when you have the battery being powered on. So the question is, what does this starter operate on? Unless they were somehow started externally via manual, I guess, I don't know, prop spin, maybe that would make sense, but I don't know. So let's go ahead, and the fuel valves are here. Let's activate them. The fuel shutoff valve is here. We have a fuel selector on, yeah, this is on both, so that's center. Okay, yeah. So center. Mixture is full rich. It has us set the power to 0, not do anything with it. We are at S60, which is a seaplane base in Seattle. I believe this came with the Drzwiecki. I'm sorry if I'm completely butchering the pronunciation of the studio here. There's VK Design, Seattle Landmarks, I believe, had this seaplane base. So because the aircraft doesn't come with landing gear, it's a seaplane, flying boat. So I needed to start on the water. That's the first thing that came to my mind. So let's go ahead and try to start engine number 2. That didn't work. Engine number 1. That didn't work. Let's try to turn on the battery. Okay. None of that seems to have any effect. Whether I turn on the battery or not, seems to have no effect on my ability to start the engine from cold and dark. In the cover, that's the emergency cutoff switch. We don't want that. Interesting. We are going to go ahead and use Control E. I don't like to do that. All right. So let's see what this thing handles like on water, because I know this is one of the issues. Okay, so I'm using my rudder right now, and I can apparently steer, which is great. I'm also at idle power, so I have some minimal thrust. You will also agree with me, I think, that the instruments are much easier to read once you have them illuminated via this instrument lighting switch. Let's see what things look like at night. The weather is very dramatic right now anyway, but at night you have okay, pretty good illumination. I can't really see anything in terms of the power levers, but I can see the instrumentation pretty well. And this is with cabin lighting on. So the question is, I guess, what does the cabin lighting do? I know what the instrument lighting does, but not the cabin lighting. Okay. Good times. Let's see how this thing is in the air. There are no flaps, as you see. We do have some water effects here. Look pretty good. It's a good looking aircraft, I will say that. Alright, let's try to take off and fly somewhere. So the checklist says takeoff RPM and climb RPM is about 1600, which is here, 1450 for cruise. The only control of any kind of performance we have is power and mixture. So that's what we have to work with. We'll stay within those parameters or try our best to. Okay, so 1600 is right about here. All right, great. Let's go for it. 70 what? 78 knots. I love that the checklist provides indicated airspeed in knots, but I don't think we have indicated airspeed in knots. We have kilometers per hour, so we have to do conversion. All right. Let's smoothly accelerate the throttle. To 1600 RPM, which is max power. Rotate. Okay. The climb rate of this bird is not very steep. It climbs at about 300 feet per minute. So it's a pretty shallow climb. But we are up and about. Most excellent. We have some very dramatic clouds and weather happening. This is not a fast plane, as you could probably surmise from the era this comes from. Prop discs. Nonetheless, the visibility is pretty decent because it's a high wing. It's a high wing aircraft, so you can see what's going on. I would probably want to raise my view point a little bit, like so. Now I feel better. All right. Let's fly not too high. I don't really want to get up in these clouds. I'm going to reduce the power to the recommended 1450 RPM, which is yay here. All right. Front cockpit hatch. Once we are down, I'm going to see what that is. I don't want to risk opening this in flight because I don't know if that would instantly terminate my flights with one of those awesome Coronado style aircraft has been overstressed type of things. This is fun. I think great if you're flying on the water a bunch and kind of want to go low and slow. This is, I think, a good aircraft for some exploration. There's not too much in terms of in terms of systems. It's a very, very simple bird, as you see. There's not that much to do. All you have to learn really is your RPM and your V speeds. let's see how it trims out, and see if it can maintain nice and level flight. Alright, we are now, I have 0 inputs, so this is basically flying on its own right now. I am not doing anything, so you can trim it out nicely as you see, and it maintains well. So let's go ahead and bring this baby down. Right past the needle here. And get everything wound down. And see if I can open that hatch. I want to know what it is. Like I'm lost. The big question was, what's in the hatch? Alright. I have reduced power now. With the idea of bringing it down right over here. Let's put it down here and see if we can just taxi to an acceptable area. Power to idle. And set it down gently. Flare. Very controllable. I like it. There is not a lot of frustration with, oh my god, this thing is going to crash into this shore that you sometimes experience in this simulator and its behavior on the water. As you see, things are very much under control here. I like it. Let's go ahead and park it right by the Ferris wheel. The interesting part will be, check out the other 2 videos that I'm going to do today on this aircraft and the other variants. I'm just curious to see how different they are in terms of performing and the feel, considering that they have different power plants, they have different max altitude. So we'll see what that has to offer. And okay, power to idle. We're going to go ahead and dock it right over here. Would the emergency cutoff switch do the job? Yes, it would. Perfect. Okay, so that basically killed everything. Right? Did I put all the switches in the off position? Okay. Perfect. We have cutoff on fuel and the tanks, and we are good to go. I will see you in a bit with the other two variants and what they bring. Thank you for watching, and if you like this kind of content, if you want to see more tutorials, product reviews, and previews, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Cheers.